Hey guys, welcome to At Home Fitness with Coach A. I am Coach A, and this is the YouTube channel that brings you guys in gym quality coaching and workouts for your at home and garage gym needs. You're going to notice some new stuff this week. I'm going to be taping all the videos today and giving you guys different content and presenting everything to you in a different way. So what you're going to see coming up here, I'm going to go through the workout. It's written on the board behind me. All the workouts for the week are written up, or at least for the next week. And then I'm going to go through and demonstrate essentially one round of the workout while talking over the video and giving you guys those coaching tips and pointers. If you guys have any questions, comments, if you like it, if you don't like it, let me know. Not really concerned about how I'm doing it, but more so how you guys are receiving it and if it is helping you. So let's take a look at Tuesday, September 22nd's workout. All right, so here's what we're looking at today. Posterior chain work, lower body focus. The strength component today is going to be 5 rounds of 3 to 5 deficit deadlifts. If you notice, I don't want that deficit any more than about 2 inches. This should be heavy weight. That 3 to 5 rep range should be your sustained set on that weight. So we're talking something probably, as long as we are good at deficit deadlifts, in terms of compared to our regular deadlift, something in the range of probably 70+%. Immediately followed by those, I'm going to sit down on a box and do some seated hamstring curls. Some of you know those as heel kicks. You'll see what that means in a second. And then a minute-half rest before that next round. So I want 5 rounds, 3 to 5 reps within the round, 15 to 20 each leg on the kicks, and then a minute-and-a-half rest. Our workout piece for today is going to be every 2 minutes times 5 rounds, you're going to complete 10 lunge hops, or you'll see me complete as well. 10 lunge hops, 40 double unders, and 10 toes to the bar. These can be kipping, and I'll demonstrate those on the bar, and then we will go over modifications for the entire day once we're done. All right, guys, so we're heading into our deadlifts and hamstring curls. Clock is on, getting ready to roll. Setting the feet right under my hips. I'm not changing the stance here, what is a normal deadlift stance for me. Obviously, looking about an inch up on a pair of steel plates. Knees are going to have to travel a little bit more forward than normal, which basically just means they're going to push back farther as I utilize my hamstrings in the deadlift itself. Control up and down. This isn't going to be an overly aggressive or underly aggressive movement. It's not going to be a tempo movement. I'm just trying to utilize my hamstrings as much as I can. The band in this scenario is attached to a set of jerk boxes, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's set on the back of the ankle. The knee is on the edge of the box, and I am sitting high enough that my feet aren't going to hit the ground. Now, on this right side, I end up being a little bit too close, so you're going to see me scoot the box back here a little bit when I switch to the left. Ideally, I would have been in that position. Initially, I didn't test this. I just kind of popped it down for you guys. I think this ends up being about 5 deadlifts and 15 banded curls for me. You notice there is a sense of control here with the curls. I'm not just slamming my foot all over the place. Don't worry if your leg does not extend back fully straight like you might be used to doing on a hamstring curl machine. That's just kind of the bane of the band here. There's not much you can do about that. So I ended up with 5 and 15. All right, we're heading into the workout. The clock is on, counting down. I believe we're about to hit 3, 2, 1 or so into the lunge hops. Notice jumping right from one lunge to the next, trying to land as flat and stable as I can, shifting, switching the feet and the arms in mid-air. Then we're going to grab that jump rope, pick it up, and go into our 40 double unders. I prefer to keep my hands down just off my pockets. I also prefer to try and snap my wrists up and down in a vertical circular motion. You're going to notice, especially looking at that left hand, that it is kind of snapping back into an oval. So it's not necessarily that it is going to be a vertical motion, but focusing on it being vertical keeps me in a very short, tight circle as opposed to making a bigger loop. Feet relatively together when we're bouncing up and down. Now, into the toe to bar, I prefer to kip on this workout so you guys can. We'll talk about modifications for this in a second. Theoretically, one of my goals for this workout is to do everything unbroken. Keep in mind that requires a certain level of competency on the double under. And now we're resting with whatever time's left. Stay tuned for movement modifications. Alright guys, we got a bunch of stuff set up here, so that means we're talking modifications for today's stuff. So, what we're looking at on the strength is a lot of hamstring work, both from the extension position and from the curling contraction kind of position. So, if you guys don't have the barbell, if you don't have the ability to deficit yourself, obviously we're just going to do regular deadlifts. That's not the biggest thing in the world, but if we don't have the barbell, a couple different things we're looking at here. First off, dumbbells. All right, for most people, a full range of motion deadlift with dumbbells is going to be a longer motion than a full range of motion deadlift with a barbell, mostly because of the size of the plates, which means we are theoretically doing that deficit position by touching the dumbbells to the ground anyway. So when I go down to pick them up, all I'm doing is letting those knees go forward a little bit more than I do normally, just like in that deficit position. Trying to keep my back and lats in a good position, going through doing my deadlifts this way and trying to utilize my hamstrings more than normally. Okay, so right off the bat, that is something that's going to create a very similar effect. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to setting the reps, let's go through the hamstring parts, both pieces first, and then I'll talk about how I want you guys to modify based on weight. So one of the other things I can do if I have a single dumbbell or a single kettlebell is go with more of the inside of the knee position in terms of the hands and the grip, in which case I can always toss plates or something under my feet to bring them up in the air, so that the bottom of my deadlift position ends up being at a deficit itself. So I'm going to attempt to do this with dumbbells just so I don't have to grab plates. But basically what we're looking at here, what would normally be the bottom of my deadlift position is now going to be lower, forcing the knees to travel further, forcing the hamstrings to do more work. So those are two ways that we can modify those heavy deficit deadlifts. On the second part, if you don't have the box or the ability to do the hamstring work, there's a couple different ways that we can do this or try and come up with a different fashion of getting that hamstring curl. One of the ways is taking a TRX strap or a set of rings, hooking the feet in there, laying back, starting with the glutes engaged in an upright position, and from there curling the heels towards the butt and doing my hamstring curl. I can also do this on a set of furniture sliders. Movement's going to be pretty much the same. I just need to make sure that they are on a surface they're going to slide across. Right, so the rubber on this platform, not so good. The wood itself will be perfect. The curl is more difficult than I would do on a TRX strap. So keep that in mind, middle of the road, hardest, all right? If I have the band here that I use for the curls, but I don't have the box or way of sitting myself, I can try and take that band, loop it around the heel, scoop myself out, and still do those hamstring curls on my stomach in a flipped over prone position there. Now, when it comes to setting up our reps, obviously in the as prescribed version, the deadlift was going to be much heavier than the curl, therefore the deadlift reps were much lower than the curl. If we have to modify that a little bit, meaning this is going to be my heavier one, my more difficult one than my deadlift might be, then I want you guys to flip them, okay? Make this the first part, make this the lower rep, you know, something in maybe the 3 to 5, up to 8 to 6 to 8 range, something along those lines.
and then something a little bit higher rep for that deadlift. Now, keep in mind, if your weight or the difficulty of your extensions, so your deadlift, is intermediate, then I don't want you going up in the 15 to 25 range. Keep it something maybe in the 12 to 15, something along those lines. All right, so that's gonna allow us to get through and get the maximal hamstring work done on the lift itself. Now, for the workout, the lunge hops, I can always just lunge, okay? If I want to move something more dynamic, but I'm not able to get myself up out of that lunge for the lunge hop, I can do the same thing on a bench or on a box. Okay, essentially hopping back and forth from step up to step up position. For the jump rope, I can always do single unders, probably double my reps. I can do jumping jacks. I can do toe taps on something in front of me, or I can do lateral hops across that line. For those kipping toe to bar, I can make those strict. They can be a leg raise, they can be a knee raise, they can be a kipping knee to elbow, they can be a tuck crunch on the ground, they can even be a straight-legged sit-up, okay? In which case, all of those modifications, there doesn't really need to be any adjustment for reps outside of possibly doubling the reps on the double unders from 40 to 80, or maybe even 40 to 60 for a movement that is a lot easier than a double under or something along those lines.